Meet Harry, Hanlow, Helen, Harper, and their one-year-old son, Harvey. Things are tough for the family as they're struggling just to have enough to eat.
I was a 19-year-old single mother that had a 1-year-old child.
Arcadia Elementary School Principal Amy Elam was one of around 50 TCS administrators taking part in this poverty simulation.
And I did not have a GED, nor did I have any income at all. And I had my boyfriend living with me.
My name was Harry. I was a 25-year-old dropout of high school, but I did have a GED, and I realized immediately that it was a struggle.
Harry is off to work. He wants to make a good impression, possibly be in line for more hours or a different task that pays more.
But then the next week there was a job that was available that basically doubled the salary, so that helped a lot to be able to meet those basic needs. And then we were able to start thinking outside the box and look at housing and other opportunities for our family.
Helen and Harvey are at a grocery store trying to figure out a way to pay for their weekly $150 grocery bill. Then it's off to the pawn shop to try to scrape together enough money for food. Helen turns down the $15 offer for her ring. A trip to a Payday Express for quick cash allows the family to pay for some necessities. But then comes the bad news.
I was summoned to the social services office in order for me to keep my food service stamps. I was having to go try to find a vocational, get into college, or to find work. But I was unable to put my 1-year-old anywhere because I didn't have the money to afford childcare.
What comes next for Helen and Harvey is the frustration of filling out forms and waiting in long lines while being given unclear instructions and trying to speak with the right person about the situation.
Throughout that process, we found out that we were eligible for a home, but because we didn't make it the first or second week of the month, we had to go back, and we were not able to receive that during that month. And so I had to rely on solely my boyfriend's money to give me so that he could buy groceries, and to finally we were able to save up enough money so that we could rent a home.
I think that's what it is. You have to have the resources. There's a certain amount that you have to account for, and we were talking about that in our discussions as a family. You have to account for the fact that you're going to have basic necessities every month. When you get that house or whatever it is, then there's utilities associated with it. There's a cost for food, there's a cost for health care, and you have to account for all of that.
Administrators participating in this simulation say it is eye-opening.
Just in the short amount of time, just having to sit and wait, and knowing that how the hours that truly people have to sit and wait for that, and just truly living paycheck to paycheck and not knowing if you're going to be able to eat or have the necessities that you may need, and wondering if you're going to have to go back to a homeless shelter, and then doing that as a 19-year-old with a 1-year-old in tow at all times because you don't have money to put them with anyone else.
It was a concerted effort by everyone to get everything accomplished. I felt like initially, on the salary that they had given us, it wasn't realistic. We were not being able to pay, the basic necessities or take care of those basic necessities. We couldn't afford food, we couldn't do utilities. We were living in a homeless shelter, and we had to try to work our way out of that. I felt like, it was a struggle, and it was very frustrating in the fact that there wasn't anything that you could do based on the limited resources.
The struggles they had to go through, being turned down for certain services, looking for a place to stay, and so it would take someone in that situation having that extra oomph to try to make it happen.
The point of the simulation is to show administrators some of the challenges that families live through.
And say, wow, what an exercise. I think it really opens the eyes of every administrator in this that participated in this exercise to kind of look at or kind of look a little deeper in some of the issues that we experience at some of our schools.
I think it's going to help me to better understand, some of the students that we have and where they come from, and then just help me to be, more helping, more concerned about their needs.
There's certain things that I think that as instructional leaders that we need to take account for and make sure that we're truly finding out the root of the problem before we're just lashing out, and we need to really truly know and understand. But I think that comes from building the relationships with our families as well as our students.